Alright, good morning. You guys hear me in YouTube land? Anybody out there? One second, guys. If you can hear me. Alright, you can hear me. Thank you. Alright, let me do the disclaimer here. Hopefully the markets won't go to zero before I get back. I'll be back in a minute.
This disclosure statement deals with risk of loss in trading stocks, EMS, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites are digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and host Apple Senate Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading report can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. In analysis and setup, I share trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas to trade with an edge for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. All right, good morning.
The pound dollar dropping 0.4%.
Welcome to Armageddon.
Hitting a 1 week low.
So huge move down. Of course, they do the start the sneak attack overnight, and actually, all I ever do is wait for shorts because it's so irrational. These markets are always at highs, in my opinion. I didn't get one short on a Nasdaq here, so failed balance break out of that. Closed here, gap down, cleared that tail. I was telling you bye-bye, but again, overnight stuff. There was just a bunch of stuff firing off here on Nasdaq. I just couldn't keep up because I was looking at other stuff too. The only thing is I'll show you, the only trades I got on were gold and silver shorts. They were winners, but nothing makes me happier than catching these moves in the ES, or the equities. So, today is a day I talk about this in my course too, where 150 is our usual threshold, so these zones will be drawn on the zone drawing tool, or you can do it by hand, off the subchart. But there's certain days when you keep seeing 150, 150, 200, 200, 200. You don't want to be using 150 as your thresholds, right? There's a big time volume running through these markets right now. As far as relative volume, as you can see here, right? So days like today, the big money's clearly unloading. Right, so that's a lot of volume. And this was kind of telling you there was some loaded up traders in this area, and when that broke, they got smushed. So this is relative volume. This is just showing me the exact time period for the last 30 days back, so I can kind of judge if it's normal or abnormal. And can see this stuff, especially overnight. Like when it just sits in a range and you see that kind of volume, when it breaks out of that range, watch out. And it tried higher, and then it got below there and got killed. So should be an active trading day. Again, I didn't get anything. The only thing I was watching here that I could have taken, and I was waiting for it, was the ATR retest of this double whammy. Sell stops into buy ice. That was the buy ice. Obviously, was not correct there, and I could have entered. That was the entry for that. But this stuff started firing off, and I just said I'll wait, and then I just missed it. So, it kind of sucks. But today is a little more confusing with all this stuff firing off, right? So, I didn't really do anything wrong. I'm not going to just throw on trades that, even though I think it's going to get killed. Like I follow my rules with these volume events, so I just didn't get anything off here. So it's fine. On to the next trade. So this actually is a potential long right here. And as much as I don't want to go long, these are the best trades into my important areas. You get straight moves into an inflection zone. I will take this long right now. Off of this stop run that just fired off my entry. So the other issue here is I try my best not to take entries into prior events, right? Because these are trap traders that are holding their breath when it comes back. If it goes against them, they're like, please let me out, right? So I've got to decide what I want to do here. In this case, I am going to move my entry up out of this guy, and then you run into all that. So I will watch that as if and when it moves up there. But my entry for this Dumb and Dumber sell stop run that just fired off here, and this is plenty volume. Like I just said, up your thresholds. This is 400 stops. Normally would be 188. I'm going to move it outside of these two volume events here. I'm going to take a long at right above this yellow line, which is 10% of an ATR 04 half. So I will take Izzy, and I think this might be a pick as well. Let's take a look. So these trading strategies, or these areas I'm talking about, are my trading strategies, right? So all these are my important areas where I wait for volume events and take the trades. So I know what areas from watching trading for so long, the areas that are important to me. So this is a pick 2. So straight move into the top of this market profile composite high. So if this bounces, it'll take that. Actually, I can take, let's see if this is current. I have some other stuff here I can take long. Yeah, so this could be, so I got a lot going on here. I have a potential as far as areas, right? I have market profile composite. I can take that long. I got the slug stop run into the major lug, the blue lug. I could take that long, and an Izzy inflection zone trade. And as much as I want to be short, these are the best trades, like I said, into this. So I can take 3 different longs here. And you see, I'm not just jumping in this trade right now. I'm waiting for the move out of this zone. I believe this just qualified as a long, so we use the ATR, 5-minute ATR, while there's ATR, to confirm these areas, whether it's bullish or bearish. So you can see that's this blue line. This is a zone drawing tool. I'll put this the document in a second that you guys can get this zone drawing tool instead of trying to draw these by hand like I did for like 7 years. You can imagine like today trying to draw every one of these zones as it's coming down. I mean, there's just no way. So this draws it for you. If it tags the ATR above or below, that tells me whether I want to go long or short off of that particular zone. This tagged it exactly. And we have another trade in my room. It's called a reversion trade, where these ATR reversion lines, so the one ATR reversion is right in front of the actual ATR, because you get this tendency where it won't even make it to the ATR. So anyway, that one worked. But I don't take those trades on these webinars. But we may take a backdoor trade. We have a new strategy for that too. But in the meantime, I'm looking for a position trade off of this. I cannot take shorts off of this event or these events, right? So I would have taken that short, but I always default to the most recent event. That event just proved bullish. I just want to confirm that. Bookmap Bob will let me know. Actually, it doesn't look like it got there. So must have just missed that ATR. It looks like it tagged it, but I guess it didn't. Let's see. I mean, we're talking, look at that. See, that looks like it tagged it to me. So I can't take shorts off of this off of this prior event. So now I'm just watching this. If this proves it already tagged the ATR here. If it tags the ATR here, then I got nothing to do off of this, but there's a new event here anyway. So now, since we're still in those same areas, off of this guy, newest event, that's what I default to, I will take longs right there. I'm not going to move this all the way up here like I was talking about this guy, because now we're talking 40 points, right? I was willing to do it off of this guy because I was just putting it basically above this stuff. Hold on here. So you see the difference here where I was willing to move my entry. It was supposed to be there. I was going to move it above this stuff. But this is, now you're talking way up here. I'll just bite the bullet and enter in prior events if this holds. So the same trades apply here. Pick. Let's just make sure. Pick, slug. No slug. You can see how we just built new lugs. So no slug there. And actually the entry for the pick is off too. You see how the top of this is at 81.50-ish. So I'd be entering inside that. So that's not a trade either. So the only long I have working potential I have working now is the Izzy, and it's right at the bottom of this Izzy zone. The other thing I'm looking at here is these spot gamma levels. And we have a new, I have another options site that one of my members pointed me to that actually gives me options on all these different products, options levels. And I don't have this set up correctly. I only have the NASDAQ. I want NDX and QQQ, but I don't know how to do that because I just had access to this, or got access to this, and I screwed it up and I couldn't get it. So these are just because you can overlay the QQQ, the NDX, and you can overlay other products too. So you can put the SPX or S&P levels that transfer to this chart, so you can see these areas. And he was showing me, he was actually doing a webinar from my room today. He was showing me later on today, 11 o'clock Central, that you guys can be invited to too. If you're not a member of my room, I'll post that link too. But he was showing me like Bitcoin, the levels in SPX, Bitcoin responds to ridiculously. So there's a lot of, this stuff is becoming more and more important. You guys hear me talk all the time about these spot gamma levels and Hero and everything else, because these options dealers are big players in the market. They have to hedge at these areas, so they are great support and resistance areas because they're going to be there hedging. They're not the only game in town. They're not the only player, especially a day like today. But because the big money is obviously unloading, but 85% of the time they are the player in the market, so you want to pay attention. So these are the two heroes. This is showing the options activity real time. Hero is real time here. You can see the Mag 7's at its lows. Excuse me. And SPX is actually not at its lows, so it could be a little choppy here. Anyway, let me post this stuff in the room for you guys. I'll give you access to that. So this is the zone drawing tool. This is we'll go over this as the webinar goes on, but this is everything I use in my trading. Here's my course. Here's if you want access to the Izzy zones, inflection zones that I was just talking about, website. I'll go over all this, but let me post this. I'll post the link to the webinar today with Mentor Q.
CL short retested.
So it's this.
Iceberg by NQ 150
I'll come back here in a
contracts.
second and see what's going on here. All right, so I still got buy ice coming in now too. I'm still going to go long Izzy here at 21.69.25. That's the beauty of the drawing tool. You put in your capital, what you want to risk per trade, and it tells you exactly the size you should be putting on for your appropriate risk based on the zones, as far as the distance in the zones price wise, and then the volatility. So right now I can just put on 3 micros based on my risk level. I'm risking basically $500 on a trade here. So more icebergs. I could combine these. These came in pretty much, this was probably a good 3-4 minutes after. So I'm just going to take the long off of that and enter here. Enter here. This is the entry for that. So actually, let's see. So that would be the pick. So what I'm going to do here, I wasn't going to combine these, but I am, because then it'll allow me to, now I can enter that as my pick long too. That way the profiles and curves and market profile composites. So let me hurry up here. So I'm just going to move it here, 87.75. Pick and Izzy longs, NASDAQ. This thing is all over the place, by the way.
By NQ 151 contracts. ES long validated. Prior NQ long validated.
All right, full on that. Hold on here, I can't get this. So I filled right to the tick. So what just happened here? There's just stuff flying off nonstop in Nasdaq, obviously, but I combine these two. I didn't get a chance to merge these properly, but I don't know why this isn't working.
CL long
There we
validated.
go. So I made these one zone. I wasn't going to do it, but they were close enough, and then this allows me
Prior
to put my
NQ
pick
long
on too.
validated. Prior NQ long validated. Prior
All right, so that was the zone I just got long off of. Now the beauty of these, so how I trail my stops, right? So that was the fill point for that, right? New event, my stop for this guy, when I just put those on, say this didn't happen, my stop was down here, right? Well, a new event came in, now I'm going to trail my stop to that. So I cut my risk down, and I'm trailing my stop based on something that happens in the market, not because I want to break even if it comes back, I don't want to lose money if it comes back, so on and so forth. I trail my stops based on something happening in the market. This came in, so now my stop was originally at 2,085 quarter. I move it all the way up to 2,118.75, so I just save myself 30 points of risk. And then depending on what happens here, I may be able to go long off of this, different strategies here. So we'll go over some of these strategies. But algo guy, this is an exponential moving average. You see it's starting to cross right now. So if that is bullish, then I can put additional strategies, longs, off of actually either one of these. So if this does this, I can put on Barking Lick off of that. And then I can put Barking Lick off of that. So what I'm referring to are these trading strategies, right? So I just put on Izzy, inflection zone trade. We looked at that Izzy zone. I put on pick, profiles and courage. That's this guy.
CW disqualified.
See how it moved out of here? So the event was in here. As it moved out, I went long that. So I got picking Izzy long right now, and if it comes back and retests the zones, which I demand for these trading strategies, bark, any trade on SI volume event that has an ATR retest confirm, and it needs the algo guy, we just looked at that, and lick. Lick is a bark, it's just the final destination or the target is liquidity, and you can see all this liquidity up here. So I've been talking about this for about 8 years now. This stuff is a magnet. These are guys playing games. They will force the market into these areas eventually. So they're like magnets, right? And it's probably going to happen ASAP. So I will, if I put on the lick trade off of either one of these, I'm watching these levels to potentially get out of that particular strategy.
83 billion on the prior 80 billion.
So what I can do here, I'm already long a couple strategies. I can still go long off of this guy as long as this guy doesn't prove bearish, right? Tags the ATR line. So I could put on Bark and Lick there and that. So we'll see what happens there, but I at least have something long on right now. Let's go see what happened in ES. And we'll talk about these Menther EQ or Menther Q levels. All right, so we had buy ice here, almost 1,000. And ES, wait, what is that? Yeah, 800. Sorry about that, I had to sneeze. All right, so now we look for areas where I potentially go long ES. So you can see here, this was this inflection zone. Let's see, that was 57.75-ish. Yep, so that is a potential Izzy long here. And again, these are the best Izzies when you get these huge moves. As much as it pains me to go long, because I want to see this thing go to zero, because it's so irrational, these are the best trades. So I will take an Izzy long there. Let's see what else we got. We got nothing in the profile, market profile composite. There's nothing to go long here. I go long at the edges. All right, so if I would have been into there with an event, I would have taken that, or there with an event, I would have taken that. This is smack dab in the middle of it, nothing to do there, and nothing to do on the Ludwig level. So the only long I have working here is the Izzy long. So if that moves out of here, and I actually should already have been filled on that. So if it comes, I'm not gonna go long here. And people are always like, well, you get a better price if you're already gonna be long. If you're already long there, you get in right here. I just feel like if this does that I got away with something by not having that accident that I didn't put it on. So if it comes back, I am going long. ES Izzy 57.85 quarter, and I can put on 5 micros. So if my thesis is in the direction, meaning what I think should happen is in the direction of the volume events, which are the most important thing because that's what's happening in real time, then I'll trade bigger. I don't have an opinion here. We got the big move down. I've been waiting for this for the last couple of days, and it finally happened, of course, overnight. But I don't have an opinion here, so I'm just going to trade normal size, both ways, long and short, if they present themselves. So let me put this in. So I'm going to go long 5 at 57.85 quarter. $7.85 quarter. All right. Those are working. So I got long. I'm already long Izzy pick NASDAQ, and I can put on Barks and Licks potentially, waiting to see what happens here in Mr. NASDAQ. And then we got the Izzy working here in ES. So ES, algo guy is not bullish. So it's still bearish. So Barks and Licks are off the table for me. That is my filter for those trades. So in the meantime, I am watching, for as long as I do have on, I'm watching these liquidity levels. So there's areas where I will get out of my trade. And this is straight out of the trading in the zone. I've added my areas, obviously. But he says, pay yourself as the market makes money available to you. So these are the areas that are important to me that I get out. Ludwig levels, market profile composites, highs, lowest points of controls, VWAP, extreme standard deviation, so on and so on. And then here's the one when I'm watching, struggle to get through heavy risk and liquidity. And same day prior SI events. And there were a ton of them up here. So if it does make it back up here, and it will eventually, because that's all it ever does is bungee jump. I've got all of this activity, and I have these liquidity levels. So I'll watch that. Like if it struggles there, I'll get out of, what do I have on? 3. I'll get out of like 1. If it struggles there, I'll get out of 1. And then you're into that stuff too. So then I try to leave 1 on for the bigger move. Always see if we can get to the major lugs. Red or blue. In this case, it'd be red. So then I'd watch here, and this I would be out of my entire trade if it did make it up here. You got red lug, and it's confluent with VWAP as of right now. That would be like right here, so there's nothing on the pick, but that would be my ultimate target. This thing gets motoring up. If you got questions, by the way, put them in the YouTube. Oh, so back to this this Menther Q. Let's see if I can find it. Really cool stuff, and you get options levels for everything. Trying to find. So this is it right here. So he's got the, it's similar to Spot Gamma, but again, they have levels for every single product, right? Every stock, every future. So I didn't get a chance to put these all in.
155 contracts.
What's going on in NQ? All right, so.
ES long retested.
All right, you have a new event. So my stop for this stuff, remember I trailed to that. So if this does come back, then I'm stopping out at 2150. And it's right below this event too, so I'm all right with that. I did not put my stops in, so I got to get those in case this comes ripping back. Anyway, he's doing a webinar for my room today. You guys are invited to that. Really, really cool stuff. And he has everything on Discord, right? So you come in Discord here, and you plug in this stuff, and you get your levels, right? So I was in here earlier. I put in for the NQ, and then you copy this and you bring it into TradingView, and it all populates. He's going to have it for Bookmap here shortly too. So anyway, he's going to do. I've just started using it, so I'm not going to pretend like I really even know what I'm doing with it. But I can bring up some of the levels, and you want to know these things because that's where, especially these other markets, these more obscure markets where there's not a ton of activity all the time. You want the options activity. So for instance, I got out of some here, so I was short here in silver earlier. I took bark and lick off this guy. Just fired off, hit the ATR. Here's your retest. Went short there, and I got out of there. And then there was some options levels at the time. This isn't. I don't have the real-time data set up for this yet. This TradingView, but at the time, it was bouncing around here, and these were 2 levels. So I got out of some there. It did go lower, but these are important levels, so you can get them for every product. So let me post this. And you can find him on YouTube too. So he has see here, go to YouTube. Like he tells you how to do everything, but he's going to be on the webinar later. His name's Fabio, and not the movie star or whoever that guy was. All right, I will put this in YouTube. This link. You guys are invited to that. That's at 11 a.m. Central, and I'll put it in. Bookmap as well. My channel on Bookmap. If you guys want to come by and watch it, interesting stuff. It's just enhancing. I use Spot Gamma. Spot Gamma is great for the hero and all the levels and the trace, his newest thing. But and the way the Mentor Q Fabio explains things, it's like it just reinforces what Brent from Spot Gamma says, and you're just getting a different take on some of the things, but it's all the same. But Spot Gamma is focused primarily on SPX, SPY. He does levels for NASDAQ too, but this is his main focus. With the Mentor, like I said, you get all the levels for all the other stuff. So he'll be on 11 o'clock if you guys want to come by. Anyway, this was a great trade in here. And the only other trade I took during this... Actually, let me see what's going on here real quick. All right, I might stop out of this. This is actually potential A+ reversion trades. So remember we were talking about, so I take two different types of trades. The room takes two different types of trades. We take position trades where we're looking for bigger moves.
NQ short validated.
Then we take reversion trades back to the event. So the best entries for reversion trades are when you get the entries in the prior events, or at least the stop for the entry. So you can see these. This is part of the zone drawing tool, right? So this is the 1 ATR right there, and you see it bouncing off there. Actually, I'm going to take this one. Hold on a second. One of my live accounts.
Order filled.
I'm going to take that guy. So the stop
10
for
seconds.
that. Way down here. Yeah, I'm alright with that. Alright, so what I did is, I rarely take these trades on the webinar, but this is A+, meaning
78
the entry
BCF,
was in
build
here and the stop's
78
outside here.
BCF,
I'll take
lower
that.
than the
I'm not liking that
expected build of
liquidity there because
83
that's probably going to get
BCF.
filled, but I'll go over this in a second. So you see this dashed line here. So the stop for that is at 94.50. Oh, the one thing the only time that I preach to my room, you don't want to be taking these reversion trades, is if the relative volume is extremely high, because we're hoping these algos snap the market back to these volume events. But when there's big money in here playing, you don't want to be taking reversion trades.
Validated.
So anyway, this I'm okay taking this. This doesn't feel like it's going to work, but it doesn't matter what it feels like. I have my rules and I'll take them. So hoping this holds this zone and comes back to the stop event. If not, then I stop out onto the next trade.
Signing off, buddies.
And I have my stop from my original longs I took in here, right here. So hopefully this can hold. What else? Then we had another event here in ES. Let's see where we're at. Another Izzy, potential Izzy. So I will go long off of this guy. I was going to go long off. Remember, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Remember, I missed this trade. I was supposed to be long off of this. That Izzy, and I just missed it, and I said I'm going to wait for it to come back. And it didn't come back, and I wouldn't have stopped out yet. But anyway, I could take an Izzy off of that now. That's the entry, 77.50. I'm going to move it just outside this, so I'll move it right above there because I would do my best not to enter in prior events. So I go a tick above this 10% of an ATR. That's what the yellow line is on the zone drawing tool. So I'm going to go long Izzy 57.79 in ES. And I don't think there's no other longs here for me.
Prior NQ short retested.
Actually, there is. So this is a pick, right? Didn't get to there, but it got to the top of there with a volume event. I'm taking that. So I'm going to take pick and Izzy longs off of this event. And what did I say it was? 57.79. And I could put on 6. Izzy and pick Mr. ES. You guys got questions, throw them in. I'll get to them here shortly. Alright, those are working. Alright, this thing's just chopping around here. So they keep hammering these Mag 7 stocks. So this is, these are the highest weighted stocks in the indices. So
Order filled.
Prior NT disqualified.
all right, now we wait. All right, so I'm waiting to see. This one hasn't shown its whether it's a long or short yet, right? So if this does prove bearish, I can put on different trades for that. If this turns bullish, I'm taking the pick in the Izzy long. Now you just sit here and wait. Again, you don't see me just jumping in at areas. Yes, I know this is an important area, but these are all our important areas as it came through. And this is what keeps me out of trouble, right? Because I'm using the real-time volume to help me judge, are these areas important? So this thing gapped through this one, through that one, through that one, and I didn't get long in any of these areas. They're very important areas. That's why there's zones there. But I need to see a volume event be bullish, and that kept me out of trouble, so I didn't get my head taken off trying to buy these areas. That is the beauty of understanding this real-time volume activity and how these markets react to these volume events. Again, this is the Stop Iceberg indicator from Bookmap. They take the CME MBO data from the enhanced data, and they can see with 100% certainty where this action is. It behooves you to know where the big money's playing, where the dumb money's puking, so on and so forth. And we have strategies based on that. So, let's see if you guys got questions. Leandro, I have no idea what you're saying there. I wasn't honor Spanish in high school. Don't remember any of it. I could bring my 13-year-old in here to translate. TRS, hey Scott, where did you learn the algo guy setups, or is that your own info? So I learned algo guy from a guy I mentored. It was probably 7 years now, 6 or 7 years ago. He actually had made millions of dollars off this thing. The way he would trade it is when it was directional like this, and you could still do this. So this is still a viable trade, right? He came to me to make it better, and we added the volume events to this algo guy, and then he started to take off again. So the way he would trade it just blindly without volume events, he would wait for like a trend where, for instance, this is bearish, right? The blue, it's been bearish since yesterday morning, right? Where the blue stays below the red. Well, he would wait for moves into the red. The red is the longer term exponential moving average ribbons. And then when it crossed back below the blue, he put his trade on, and then he put his stop above the red. So you can see if he did it here, he just kept, he probably had trade, new trade, new trade. This didn't quite get there. New trade, didn't quite get there. So, he could probably have 3-4 positions on over days, right? So you see, this is just like anything else. The important areas work, but they work much better when you get volume events. So we actually have a trade for that move into the red ribbon. But anyway, I learned it from him, and I don't apply things to my trading very easily. I need to watch it, like the Ludwig levels. I need to watch them for a period of time, and I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. That works so well. Some guy was telling me about the lugs. Another guy that I mentored that was in my trading room, and he kept raving about these Ludwig levels, and I'm like, what is that? So I brought him up, talked to her, and I actually had a webinar with her. That's in my Discord room, or in the Bookmap room too. You can scroll up. It's in the pinned messages in there too. It was literally 3 years ago now, but it was right when I got these things after watching them for 3-4 months and said, okay, these are ridiculous how well these things work. And I got on a webinar with her, and I asked her just the basic questions, but I watched them work for months, and I'm like, okay, these things are ridiculous, especially when you can get a volume event at these major lugs, right? So anyway, that's how I learned about algo guy, lugs. Again, if I see something working nonstop, I validate it, then I'll add it to my trading. But I just don't throw stuff into my trading on a whim just because it works on a given day. You know what I mean? Hold on here. A plus reversion.
Order filled.
What was that exit here? Of course, right when I got in it, then it spikes lower. 95. Alright. So the only other trade I put on earlier was, what was that? What did I just get filled on there? Oops. Had gold on short this entire time. I didn't know it. I thought I got out at the lug. So I'll go over this trade here in a second. Let me see what's going on here. All right, yeah, all I got on right now is the NQ as the impick. Did I just stop out? Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Why can't I find NQ? Here we go. So my stop for those are basically right here. So if that comes down a little lower, I'm out of those longs that I took off of this guy. And they keep hammering these things, so. Alright, anyway, the only thing I put on this whole down move was gold and silver, but they both were nice winners. This was this gold trade up here, Bark and Lick. I think some of my room members took this too, because I saw him talking about it. Algo guy again.
Stock sell NQ, 173 contracts.
Alright,
Order
so
filled.
NQ short
I'll be back to this in a second. So the rule for my reversion trades is I was playing this reversion line. You see that dotted line? So I was playing for, right here, I was playing for a move back to this event, right? If a new event comes in, the reversion trade, I'm out of the reversion trade. Whether it's profitable or not, I'm out. I don't wait for the stop out. Because I'm not going to hope it comes back to this event with a new event, right? So now what could happen here is I might be able to put an A plus reversion into this dude, back to that guy. So anyway, I'm out of that reversion trade. No go there, but I'm still long picking Izzy. So quickly, this is what I went short earlier. And I lost Algo guy. Here it is. So this was bearish. This is my filter for barks and licks. You can see this puppy. Here's another example of that, what I just told you. So guys, like, I go over this stuff. So all my trading strategies that I go over are all my things that I've developed over years. I was talking about this yesterday. It doesn't mean you come in here and you get in my room and you trade every one of these right off the bat. Your head's going to be spinning. Yeah, I do, because they're my strategies. The best thing to do is to pick 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on your bandwidth, and then just look for those strategies and get really good at those, be profitable in those, and then you can add. And I have a couple more that I'm adding too. One's an auto fade. I was supposed to put them in last night. I didn't get a chance, so that's to my room. So these are these new strategies. I will have a course on the strategies soon, and it's going to be a continuing education course where every time I add a strategy, that will be added, and you can always have access as I add things. But anyway, we have these new strategies too. Maybe cover those. So anyway, the point is, this is not to take every one of these, right? And I have Apex accounts assigned to each one of these strategies to keep track and so on and so forth. So anyway, I took the bark and the lick off this gold trade, and great trade. You can see, I don't think I could have added, well, yeah, it looks like I could have added to this too. So there's a perfect example. So when you catch a trending market, you can be adding based on the volume events and have multiple positions on with very little risk, right? So short there, I missed this one. That did the ATR retest confirm as well. I could have added the bark and lick, never violated. You could have caught it. I mean, I caught this move, but I could have had double size on here. What a nice trade. And I did the exact same thing with silver, right? That's the beauty of these things. And it doesn't matter. That's the other great thing about them, is it doesn't matter what market you're looking at. They all follow the same patterns because it's just volume. We're looking for loaded up traders in these areas and taking advantage of that. So that was a whopper there too. All right, there hasn't been anything new in there. NASDAQ is just hovering. See if you guys got any questions. No. I didn't see the A plus ATR there, Mr. Thomas. Let's see what I missed. Yep, so that was the A plus. This is what I just took. I don't see the fill there though. I'm assuming he's talking about this, but I don't see the fill there unless you cheated. She cheated, that puppy. But I don't take if this I don't want to really get into this trade because I don't take them on these webinars. But if the prior event touches the ATR, I won't take that reversion trade because the whole point of this is we want to take advantage of when guys are caught and it comes back and then it rips back out of there to the newest volume event, right? Well, if the market already pushes an ATR out of there and an ATR below, these guys are basically already out of their trades, and that's how you got to look at it. Not all of them, but you know what I'm saying. So the A plus is supposed to be volume event. Get a new volume event. First move into the prior volume event, as long as these ATR lines are in there and the stops on the other side, you take it for a move back to the volume event. That's how it's meant to be. If you want to have your own variations, absolutely fine. And that's what I was getting at before. It's like with the algo guy, right? Like I'm pointing out all these different strategies. Pick what you like. Pick what makes sense to you. Say, hey, you know what? I like that. I like that strategy where it touches the red and gets back below. All I'm saying is demand, a volume event when you take them, because then you're getting confirmation with the real-time volume that these areas are working, right? And it doesn't matter what I'm showing you. I demand a volume event. And even the lugs, the Ludwig levels are the second most powerful thing I've ever seen in my trading career next to the SI events, and I still don't take Ludwig level trades, unless I get a volume event. That's just me. There are some people in my room that take them blindly, meaning just any move into them because they react that often, right? But I don't. So because I know from my experience, these are the most important things, most powerful edge you can ever have in futures trading. So that's why I demand them. All right. So gold continues to get smushed. Look at this move. The other is, don't ever think the market can't keep going, especially gold. Like I've seen that before in one move. So never just buy blindly. So this is a great example right here.
Disqualified.
This is a move into the zone. Do you see me buying here? No, because I didn't get a volume event that proved bullish. So I don't do anything here. Most guys are looking at this, saying this is a great area to buy, and it is. Don't get me wrong. That's the top of that balance area. That is this inflection zone that I drew based on important stuff that happened here. The 4 important areas of charting, that's what these zones are based off of. But I still don't take that long unless I get a volume event, right? So again, that kept me out of trouble on this one, all the way through this one, because I could have been buying anywhere in this zone, right? I didn't do any of that because I didn't get a volume event that proved bullish. All right, so of course, Nasdaq's all over the place. We get on the webinar and it just spins in place for 45 minutes. That's just the way it goes. The last, I've been saying it forever, the last 4 or 5 months, the trade's been pretty brutal, right? It's like, it's been very trying. I talk about this all the time too, your P&L is going to look like the way these markets have been looking for the last 3 months, just like this, right? Back and forth, make a little, lose a little, make a little, and then you're going to have a big day. Like today, you should be having a big day, whether it's, you did catch this NASDAQ stuff or the gold or the silver or whatever, and then it's back to this, and then it's that. It kind of looks like a chart, right? So markets are in 2 states. They're either trending, balancing, or trending. So your back and forth days are your balance days, and then you catch the big move, and then back to chop, and then you catch the big move. This Thinkorswim is just the absolute worst software on the planet. I want to switch to TradingView, but there's a problem there too, because they don't have. They have all these markets as this default opening up at 8:30 Central, and that is not correct. Crude opens up at 8 Central. Gold opens up at 7:20 Central. Bonds open up at 7:20 Central. They don't. You see this, a blanket across the board. They have the stuff opening at 8:30. It's just stupid. I don't understand why they can't change it. I've been emailing them since March. They still haven't. Like, it's in our queue to change that, but we haven't changed it yet. It's pretty pathetic. So anyway, that's why I don't draw the zones on TradingView, and I keep putting up with this crappy Thinkorswim, which is terrible, but that's why. All right, so we just got a tick extreme here. So now there's another trade on the table here. I still haven't been stopped out of my shorts. I don't know why. Hold on. I mean my longs. Let's see what's going on here in NASDAQ. I should be stopped out of these. What happened here? Hold on. Did I not put this in correctly? All right. I just didn't put it in there, so it cost myself a few points. But anyway, we're starting to tick extremes. We have a trade for this, a fade trade.
NQ stocks,
There it is.
NQ, 219.
All right, I'm going to try this right now. It's called the TikTok. Get in. I'm going long here. Scary. I'll give this 1 second here.
Iceberg by NQ, 163
Right.
contracts.
All right.
Short validated.
So this is every one of my trading strategies except for this one, and we have a new one. You hear the tick extreme again. I wait for an ATR out of here. You already see me do it today, right? So I will wait for this market to show me it can push an ATR out. That's the best way to enter that I've seen in the 8 years of using these. I never would get in right at the zone. We have 2 trades now, but the most recent that I've been trading is called the TikTok. So it's when this market or the markets make a tick extreme, and you can hear that little ding in the background, right? When it makes a tick extreme, you just jump in the trade right when you hear the volume event. So that's what I just did with the traditional stop. So my stop for this trade's down here, but you can see the difference. It's a great risk-reward trade because instead of waiting for this to tag that to get in, I get in right away. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but you take enough of these, trust me, it's a profitable trade just like anything else off of these events. But this one, I'm not demanding it move out. I'm in right away. So my stop for that is at 20.54. So I did stop out of my pick and Izzy, but now I'm long TikTok, and then we'll go over to yes here. You can see I'm just hammering these stocks here. So this, as I don't know, you never know if it's going to work or not. I know this is the edge. I put it on. This feels like this is going to rip straight down to this stop, right? But if we get another tick extreme, if I get another one, I'll put it on again. So I'm long TikTok there. So this ES just confirmed bearish.
CW long validated.
Oh, I could put on here a Barks and Licks. I can't do any longs off of that. If a new event comes in, then I can possibly do a long. Algo guys bearish. So on an ATR retest confirm, I can put on a Bark and a Lick. And you see all this liquidity down here. By the way, I want to see what is... I didn't read Spot Gamma today. I wanted to see what he had to say because I know we were...
Short validated.
You see, there's not a lot of blue here as far as the delta pressure. So this thing could keep going. Meaning there's not a lot of option support. That's this new trace tool, Spot Gamma.
NQ stocks sell NQ, 200 contracts.
All right, more stops. I just love the days that it's finally selling off. Now all of a sudden I'm long. That's all. But I mean, I'm following my rules. But it's like I've been waiting for this for a month, and I'm finally doing what I thought. So anyway, structure-wise, we broke down. That was a failed balance breakout. That was telling you something was up, and then it got through that high volume node and that buying tail. This is a bigger one here. Ripped right through that.
Stocks sell NQ, 216 contracts.
Goodness gracious. All right, let's see if we get another TikTok here. I'll take it again. Yeah, it hasn't tagged it again. All right, so I'm long TikTok, but now we have for other potential position trading strategies here too, right? So I'm just going to combine these. They're basically back to back here. I'm going to combine these two zones. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I just screwed that up, I think. Hold on. I think that's right. I think I moved to the bottom of the first or the second one, but I think that's correct. If this is wrong, my trade room, let me know. I think that looks like it's right. All right, so step one, get your zone. I'm still long TikTok, by the way. Let's see where we're at here. So this is a perfect example, right? You see Heroes not doing much. This activity is not options dealers. It's the big money unloading, and this is like program selling, and that's when you start to get these tick extremes. So the Hero is kind of just spinning in place. Meg 7, I'm sure, is on its lows because we hear all these things ripping. It'd be nice if this worked. There we go. See, this is getting killed. So this is,
T-double
this is
long
reflected in this
retested.
stuff. So that is getting killed, but the SPX is kind of holding on. All right, so we got a new event here in ES coming in. Buy ice. This is it. I'll take this Izzy. It's still right on the edge of this puppy. I'll take this if this event turns bullish, and you can see this is a very important area. It's the high volume node of that. All this activity here are right there, and this is, the juke move's coming on. Madam Shizzle of my trade room actually said something funny earlier. She goes, it's what did she say? I laughed out loud. What's it called? What did she say? It's about juke o'clock, which is so accurate. So it's coming. It hasn't happened yet. It's about juke o'clock. I laughed out loud, Madam Shizzle. Thank you for providing humor for today. Anyway, I can go long Izzy. And let's see what else we got. It's not quite at the blue lug. Yeah, it's not at the lug yet, but if we get a stop run or buy ice in the lug, I got strategies for that too, long strategies. So on the flip side, we talk about barks and licks. I would not take barks and licks here in the lug. I just talked about how powerful these areas are. And the other long I can take here, there's your
working group meeting.
profile. This is the top of this guy. It's the bottom of that guy. If this holds, and you can see a straight move into that stuff. So I'll still take longs off of this. So I'm still long TikTok, and I just made a mistake here. What did I do wrong here? So I got long in this with the tick extreme. See where this bounced off of? I should have been out of some here. These are areas I showed you earlier. It said exit at prior events, some of them. So I should have been out of it. That was a 30-point trade because I got in right when that thing fired off. So I should have been out of some of these already, and I did not do it. Or was it this one? Yeah, because it's showing me. Did I get long? I don't know which one. But either way, I should have been out with a move back into this prior event. So we'll let that work. Otherwise, I'll stop out of that. Because again, I'm sorry if you're not. I know I talk fast. I'm trading live, so it doesn't. I try to explain this as basic as possible. But I'm back and forth, and I'm doing this because you got to remember I'm trading live. My brain's thinking, okay, I got to figure out what's going on here. Speaking of which, I'm going to get out of a couple of these TikToks into this prior event. If this starts to fail again, it's already gone up here twice. All right, it's not there yet. So let me set up my longs here in ES. So if this buy ice holds, let's see where this occurred. That was the same area. You can see this white. This is the on chart. This is one house that's buying here. But it's the same area, so I'm okay with this. I don't have to move this zone. I just start hammering these fang stocks. So if this proves to be a bullish event, I'm going to take an Izzy long, 68 quarter, and I'm going to move it outside of this. Right. So this is a perfect example. I do my best not to enter in prior events. I'll move it out of there. So I'm going to take a pick and an Izzy long as this guy doesn't prove bearish. So let's see what goes on here. This is when this thing starts to drive you crazy, right? I love tick strike. I need it. I need to know what's going on in other markets. But when you have a position on and you get to watch it go against you and listen to it, it's pretty brutal. It's glorious when it's going your way. But this thing there just hammering these stocks. So this is just, again, this is in this document. You can get tick strike, a discount to that. This is a meter between 1 and 15. 15's max. So you can see all of these FANG stocks are getting hammered max, right? It's going to be very hard for this market to rip up if these are getting hammered because these are the highest weighted stocks in the index. All right, let me put these longs in here. I'm going to move it a tick outside of this prior event, and so I'm willing to risk a couple more points to enter this long off of this buy ice. Again, I should be getting at 68.50. I'm going to move it up to 70 or 71, 57.71. I'm going to go long pick and Izzy. You see, I'm not getting in right here. This is not the only auto trade I have is the TikTok, which I'm still long. Brutal. Is along there. It is about juke o'clock though. About time for that. they're hammering, rustling. Usually these puppies are moving opposite. Everything's moving in tandem. This just tells me that the big money is unloading on program selling, obviously. Even though ES or the Dow has not hit tick extreme today yet. But they keep hammering this stuff. Alright, so now we wait. I'm still long TikTok here. And then there's these new events. I could go long here too. Let's see what we got. This is another pick. Now we're at the bottom of this. Remember I took the first one at the top of it. Lost on that one. Right back at it. Because this is what trading is. It's probabilities. If you have an edge, you just keep putting the trade on. I lost on that one. Here we are again. Right back at it. If it moves out of here, I'm not just putting it on here. This needs to hold, and I would enter up here. And I'm going to move it out of that too. So I'm put it at 22.25-ish. So we definitely have a pick. Let's see if this isn't Izzy. Lost my chart as usual. I just don't understand where these charts go. Hey, there it is. It should be sitting there, but it's not. This is an Izzy. So I'll go right. I just lost on picking Izzy off of this guy. Right. There's another one. This is an important zone. It's basically that guy. Top of the high volume note of that. But there was other stuff that happened here that I drew this. So I'll go right back into the Izzy and right back into the pick long. NASDAQ and ES. So my entry for this event is up here at this yellow line. See where it says long aggressive? And it's just inside this. I'm going to move it just outside of it. So that is, I'm going to move it to 25.5. Because the best ways to get in this is, have it clear this 10% ATR. So you can move it right here if you want. I'm going to just move it here. So 25.5. I'm going long pick and Izzy, and I'm still long TikTok. Get those set up. See, this is so important in your trading where you don't. If you have an edge, you just keep putting it on. If you blow out for the day, you have a stop limit for the day. You're done, right? But I don't say, yeah, I took that one. That one lost. Yeah, I'm not going to take this one because that doesn't feel right. I know my strategies, and that's all I know. I know my strategies. I know my rules. I keep putting the trade on. If you hit your loss for the day, your loss limit for the day, it should never be more than 5 or 6% of your total account size. You're just done. Just say, hey, it's not working today. There's bigger things at play here that my strategies are not working today. I'm done, right? But I don't skip trades just because this one hurt or I'm afraid or these are going crazy and I'm like, nah, I don't want to. Yeah, this one doesn't feel right. I'm going to put it right back on. That is probably the most important thing that you can do in your trading, right? Like that traders trade on feeling all the time because they feel like something's going to happen. And so what I always say to help combat that, if you find yourself doing that, is, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Damn it.
CL long validated.
Just trying to put my long in NASDAQ, and I actually went to the market with it. Another mistake. Hold on here. So a way to combat that, if you're thinking, I just took 3 losses in a row with my strategy, I'm not putting this on,
152 contracts.
then if you're so sure it's not going to go up, then you should be betting your house and then going down. You won't do that, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen next. So just follow your rules is what I'm getting at. All right, they just keep hammering this stuff. There's another TikTok. I'm in it. I'm going to take another TikTok here. What could go wrong? Hold on. All right, so that was another tick extreme. I'm still not stopped out of the first one. See right there? With a volume event. These are auto entries where I get in right away. That stop for this TikTok is way down here. So the other thing you want to watch too is on days that the relative volume is spiking like this, you may want to stay away from TikToks. I'm taking them. I want to show you guys on these webinars. And this market has moved very, very. It doesn't mean it can't keep going, but this is a pretty big move. And I'll take them, and I'm okay with stopping out of them. The point is, when you see relative volume like hanging around 200% the entire time, be very careful, because these big funds need to get their stuff done, and they are unloading, and it doesn't mean it's going to bounce, right? So it's fine. I'll take my loss. Another TikTok, 2650 is a stop on this one. These are auto entries. So when you get these auto entries, you know, it's a great risk reward trade, because I'm not waiting for this to get out of here. Like I said, if this pops up here, take some of your profit, right? The best way to judge is when this thing pops back to the zero line, get out of some, right? Not there. This thing hasn't sniffed zero for a while. So we'll keep an eye on this. But if it pops up here, I'm going to get out of some regardless of where we're at, because it's such a great risk reward trade, right? This thing's driving me nuts, I can tell you that. Like, it's just weird. When I'm short, I don't have this stuff firing off for 82 straight minutes. I get juked. That's just me complaining. All right, so I'm long this stuff. I have not put on the position trading longs yet, though. ES or NQ.
US stocks extend full Dow Jones down 1%.
We had another buy ice event here. Let's see what's going on here. Hero's obviously on its lows. Another thing you want to watch for here, if you get the flow alert on the S&P 500, this thing's just hanging here. This is all Mag 7 stuff. Look at these things. No mercy. No mercy today.
Prior ES short validated.
Goodness gracious. I've been trading for 25 years. You know the times that this stuff fires off like this when I'm short versus the juke move? It doesn't happen very often. So I laugh. I laugh at it. All right, I'm still long TikToks and NASDAQ, and then I'm waiting for other longs off of this stuff. Actually, my longs I was working here in ES are now canceled. Why? Because that proved bearish. This is the newest one. I can still potentially take them off of that, but if that proves bearish, aka get the ATR line, I can't put longs off of that either. So let's see what happens here. I believe this might be through the Izzy zone now. No, it's right into this. So I'll take longs off of this. You see, the only long I have on are the TikToks, because this is why I force the market to push an ATR out of there before I take the trade. On the flip side, I could take Barks and Licks off of that, as long as we're not into the lug. This literally, markets might go to zero today. So this is an I lug you if this holds, right? Buy ice, that's this trading strategy. Iceberg at the lug. So in this case, a buy iceberg at the blue lug, I'll get in aggressively, meaning first move out. But this is about to invalidate that too. You see, this is per example, like, I know how powerful the lugs are. Do you see me going long? No. Did this validate to the short side?
CM long validated.
804. That wasn't that guy. This is very close. It looks like it did. All right, so I can't take a long off this. The only thing I got working off of this stuff is I can take shorts. But for me, I will not take shorts. I have, and I get burned every time I do it. I'm not going to take shorts into the blue lug. If we form new lugs, then I'm fine with taking shorts. So I'm not taking shorts off this guy. And I'm still long. I lug you. I mean, TikTok. My bad. So you see, I mean, this move lower, it hasn't been like sell ice or anything. Yeah, the big money's unloading, but it's basically just been stop runs. All right, so this is finally starting to work. These TikToks, let's see if we get going. Here we go. It's about juke o'clock.
30 contracts.
All right, so now the good thing off this last TikTok I put on, remember that was the auto entry. Now I can trail my stop to that guy. There you go. Remember it was down at 25. Now it's up to 42. So that's how I trail my stops based on new events in the market. This is that prior event that I was talking. I'm going to see if it can push through here. This is just a choice. You could get out of some here if you took this tick-tock. There you go. It's juke o'clock. Let's pull all our liquidity and rip it. So this is already a 40 point, almost a 40-point trade. I'm going to get out, and this is the tick.
Volatility index rises 3 spots.
See, did it get back to 0?
The highest
There you go,
since
pretty
September
close. I'm going to get out of a couple here.
23 spot
I
36.
had 10 on. I'm going to get out of 3. I traded double size because my risk was a lot lower. Alright, so I'm out of 3 of those 10. And we have more stop runs here. So that one worked great. Right? You have the tick extreme. This is the auto trade that I've been talking about. Tick extreme there. Stop run fired off, you jump in. Did I fill in my other? I thought I had Pick and Izzy working here. I didn't fill on them. Did I forget to put them in? That wouldn't be like me. See, this is the Izzy zone. I gotta be long. That was off of this dude. Now it didn't fill yet, that's why. No way, I take that back. It's this guy. So I should have filled on that. So that comes back there. I'm going to take that right there. I mean, you can move it out of the zone if you want. I'll move it out. It's another 10 points. So we'll put it at 21.20. Pick and Izzy. Yeah, there you go. So you got Pick and Izzy longs.
CM long
And I'm already long TikTok. Got out of some of those, and then I'm going to put on Pick and Izzy. This is right about the time they start to play the games, ripping it back up in everyone's face.
CW disqualified.
So 21.20, I'm going to go long Pick and Izzy and NASDAQ. All right, those are working. And then ES. This proved bearish though, didn't it? That's the only, I can't go long off of this per my rules, right? I mean, barely. Like barely. Yeah, that sucks. So, you know, per my rules, it did tag this ATR to the tick, so I can't take longs off of this stuff. So that's fine. At least I have TikTok long, and then I'll put on Izzy and Pick and NASDAQ. But in the meantime, I got out of some of my TikTok longs that I got. That was the auto entry off of that, and now I'm going to trail my stop to the most recent event right there, 2057. And then if I get filled off of my other trading strategies off of that, I could trail my stop to that as well. 2056.50. Any questions? Throw them in. I haven't had a chance to look at the YouTube. That is 43. All right, those are working. I'm stopping out there if it comes back. I got out of some on that tick, getting close back to 0 off the auto fade. That's close enough for me. Got out of some. If it comes back, I stop out there. Pretty much a scratch. I'll lose a little bit, not much. And then I have the other trading strategies working, Pick and Izzy long. And I did nothing off of this guy. This actually, again, it's a short event. I could short it
Short validated.
normally, but I'm not shorting into the lug. I'm going to wait for new lugs. So if this rips down and makes new lugs, then I can potentially go short off of that stuff. It's a pretty big move.
So Mossad commentary on X notes that there's movement of ballistic missiles in Iran.
Oh, we have ballistic missiles. Well, usually that's good news for the markets. Every time like there's a bombing or something, the markets just rally to highs. So that should be good news coming up here. This is why I always want these things to get killed. And then, of course, the day they're killed, I'm not short. Like I said, I missed some shorts earlier in NASDAQ, but there hasn't really been anything to short here for my strategies in ES on this move down. Except for this. I could have taken Barks and Licks off of this guy. I just missed that, right? This one earlier, broken ice event, ATR, retest failure. I think that was an ATR, maybe not. Yeah, to the tick, as usual, right there. So I did miss Barks and Licks off of this guy. Hopefully my room caught that. because that was already a 20 plus point trade. This was not, see, I didn't see the A plus reversion there. All right, so now just waiting. So as far as this recent stuff in NASDAQ, these stop runs, I'm gonna combine these two. They're basically back to back. So I'm gonna do something like this. The zone drawing tool. So I have longs working off of this guy, right? If this turns bearish, I've got strategies for that. And then my longs will be canceled too. So this is a red rum, perfect example. You had a move into the red ribbon, buy stops, so I can take that short. That entry is at 40 quarter. Right, so right now I have longs working off of this. If the newest event turns bearish, aka the ATR, those longs are canceled and I can take shorts. So I can already take the red rum. The red rum is the aggressive entry, so I don't wait for the retest confirm. And then I can put on barks and licks. You see this liquidity down here. That's these strategies. Red rum. Take fade trades in the algo guy red ribbon. SI events have to be either icebergs that are in the direction of algo guys, so in this case sell icebergs, or stop run fades. This is a dumb and dumber. Market moved up, buy stop run, usually the opposite happens because it's just retail traders puking out. That entry is at 2040, so I'll put on red rum. I can put on a whopping 2 guy. This is red rum, red rum. 2040. All right, so I stopped out of the rest of the TikTok. I basically scratched it. So remember, I got out of someone, the tick popped up to 0. That was off of this. Remember, I trailed my stop to this.
Fed bids for 4-week bills total 266.
It was the first one. That's why it looks different now. But I'm out of the TikTok. So now I got red rum short working. If this moves lower, if it happens to hold and not make this a bearish event, then I can put on longs off of this guy. So we're just sitting, watch and see. Nothing to do here off of this ice. I'm going to make this one zone, but there's nothing to do until we get new lugs on the short side anyway. That's the zone. It's pretty much probably one house here. So I combine the zones. Just need some new lugs there to short that puppy. You know, and be careful. This is the time of day. I say it all the time. 10:15, 10:30-ish Central to 12:30 Central. You would do very well not to even be in front of the screens between those times. You're just asking for trouble. There's certain situations like today I'm okay with it because when you're seeing the volume like that, it's, you know, there's still going to be good activity, but it usually at this time of day starts to dry up and then you start getting algo city and you don't want to play in that environment. All right, see if you guys got questions. Sorry I haven't been over there.
NT short validated.
Algo guide charts for the majority of futures market. Yeah, I have algo guide charts for each one. All the templates are on my trade room too, guys. If you come in there, like I have the templates for the Sierra chart stuff and the algo guide and everything else. And then that. So let's just go through this real quick too. So something's going on. So again, that's the zone drawing tool that I'm using.
Short retested.
Yeah, it gives you all the, and then here's the YouTubes for the basic, and then the pro. The pro is giving you the ATR trades, the reversion trades, all those lines where you play the move back to the zone. Tons of guys are doing it in my room, guys and girls. Here's the course. This explains my 5 or my 6 distinct setups. All right, that's what I show every week. Let me show it again.
Prior ZL short validated.
All right, that's ZL, not CL. So I didn't. I don't think there's been a setup in crude today. second here. Sorry, I usually have this stuff up, ready to go.
NQ stock by NQ, 662 contracts.
There's more stops.
NQ iceberg by NQ, 150 contracts.
More buy stops. I still have that red rum working though. This guy still hasn't proved bearish. So remember, I still have longs working off of this event. Up there. As long as this guy doesn't prove bearish, I'll still take those longs.
Prior CL short validated.
There's another event here, just more retail trader pukes. So I'm still going to take the red rum off of that guy. Then you could take another one here too. Double sized. It's a stop run into the red ribbon. That's if it comes down to these prices. This one or this one. So I've got two different strategies working, or three different strategies. Two long, two short. Now you got buy ice here too. So this is right about time of the juke o'clock. So this is rare. This is what I was just going to show you, one of these 6 events. This is called Step Bros. Very rare. Mariah Carey here, very rare. Where you get buy stops with buy ice. This inherently should be a bullish event, right? Because you got the big money buying, you got the pukes, and then you got the big money buying here too. If this breaks, then you get whopper moves the other way. So this inherently is bullish, and I still have my longs working, and I can do stuff off this too, depending on what happens here. So there is a chance here too, algo guy pulls in my direction, where I can take barks and legs, so on and so forth. So we just got to see what happens here. So this is the course I was telling you guys about. I know I go over this every week, but there's always new traders on here. You can get this on my website or the Bookmap Marketplace. So anyway, these are the 6. So you got everything in here, right? You got how to add the Bookmap, how to the settings, the product thresholds. If you have a zone drawing tool, you don't even need to know them; they draw them automatically. But you still want to know them because sometimes you have to draw them manually if they're separated. Here's all the setting stuff, how to draw the zones manually, because we did that. I did that for about 8 years. And then this is progression, because I was drawing them wrong at first, and it still was an edge in the area, but I was drawing them based on the edges of the bubbles versus the middle of the bubbles. But this is the progression on how to draw. And then these are the setups that I'm talking about. The Dumb and Dumbers, stop and hold. That's when you get to stop run where the market holds. Titanic, and the market runs into, going down and runs into bias that holds. The broken ice, when the big money tries to come in and hold it and they get smoked. We saw that in ES earlier. That worked out up here pretty good. So again, I don't care. I always get like well, you don't know what they were doing. They might have been covering shorts. They may have been hedging options. Great. I don't care what they were doing. They could have bought much lower or got out of their position much lower. You know what I mean? So the point is, we're looking for these areas because there's someone on the other side of the trade. Someone's going to be right. Someone's going to be wrong. We take advantage of it. That's the whole idea of what we're doing. And then this is the one just fired off. 6 setup wonder of the world. You don't see it very often. The old Step Bros right here in Mr. NASDAQ. All right, so I got my longs working here. I can't do anything long off of ES, like I said, because this had proved bearish barely. But I still have my longs working off of this dude, the pick and the Izzy, and then potentially can do stuff off of this. Let's just see where we're at. It'd basically be the same trades if you want to put them on off of this. You'd probably get an entry. The entry would be higher anyway off of this stuff. So I still have my off of that, so I'm okay with that entry if I get filled on it. Just want to see where we're at here. So the old lugs held. This is why I don't want to take shorts into these things. Right? Try to get through, go on. I can't, but per my rules, that event tagged the bearish ATR line, so unfortunately I didn't go long in ES. That would have been a nice move so far already. And then I do have the pick and Izzy still working. I haven't been filled yet. This is that stop run was in there. I'll take that. And then that inflection zone. Still in there. Right there. Oh, that's a yes. Here we go. It's juke o'clock. Lost my chart. That's the SISI zone here. So those longs are still working. So luckily I had some nice trades in gold and silver. I would be beside myself right now for missing these shorts today. So I had a chance to go short ES and NQ earlier. I just didn't. I messed it up. Like this, I was waiting to short off of that. I talked about this at the beginning of the webinar, and all this stuff came in, and then I got sidetracked, and I didn't do it, and just gets smushed. So that's the way it goes sometimes. It just hurts more because I'm always wanting to sell these markets, just because it's so irrational with the things going to high during bombings and stuff like that. So I always want to sell it, especially when the structure stuff looks like it's going to get killed, and that's what we've been talking about in my room for the last few days, and it finally happened. And you had to break of that guy. You had all these buying tails that tried to hold it, and once those cleared, of course, the sneak attack overnight, like I said, almost 50 points. Then it went a little further, and it's holding that guy for now. Actually, it's this dude, right? That's the right word. It's holding. That breaks, it's gonna get ugly. It should anyway. Every time I say that, then we bungee jump back to new highs. But all right, so I still got those longs working. Any questions? Put them in. There hasn't really been much otherwise. I mean, I caught that gold short. There hasn't been anything in here for a while. Let's check out some of these markets on this Menther Q. These levels here. I didn't have them in the bonds with the NASDAQ. So I don't know if this was... So I didn't... You can bring in QQQ, NDX. I think this is NDX. He'll go over this again. We have the webinar literally in a half hour here. You can hop on there and he's going to go over all that stuff. The links in the Discord. See, I don't have all the levels in here for... I don't have the SPY or the... He's going to... Again, he'll go over this, but... Let's see what else this thing... So these are some crude levels here. So we have a new trade too, where these markets, it's called Sexy Gexy. When it comes to these levels, you just take fade trades, kind of like you saw me do with the TikTok.
It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The US has $95 billion.
So this is kind of just bouncing around this one.
Prior high yield.
But when you get multiple
prior bid to cover of
around each other, those are awesome. So if this crude moves up into here today and you get a volume event, fade that immediately, at least for an initial move. And then gold. See where gold just held there? Right there. This is why I want them. This is why I want to use this stuff, because you got them for these other markets. Like, it just bounced right off of there. There was no volume event, but if there was, I would have taken a Sexy Gexy right there. Alright, so there's just nothing going on right now. I think I missed a bunch of grain stuff earlier. There was just too much firing off. I just can't get to everything. I make enough mistakes as it is. You had a Dumb and Dumber off the bat here that held. Let's see what we missed here. Grains.
CM long retested.
That was an Izzy. Market moved down into here. There was your Dumb and Dumber. Take that guy.
Copper Ice Iceberg by HT.
That was this. It's a nice trade. You would have trailed your stop to the most recent event, so I would have basically scratched that trade, but at the time it was... That's what you look for. Actually, that was the wrong market. I take that back. That was wheat. Hold on. Oh, that was wheat, right? That was Izzy too. Because this is why I have these areas, right? It's like I have the areas, and then you get your volume event there, you take it. Granted, that one I would have traveled the most recent event and scratched it, but that's why I have these areas drawn. You can get access. Let me just finish going through this real quick since nothing is going on. So you can get access to these. You get them free in my room and the spreadsheet that I use. You can use, if you have the zone drawing tool, you don't really need the spreadsheet, but you can use that. That's this guy, right, where you plug in the zones, the ATR, and it tells you exactly where you enter, how much you risk based on the risk amount you put in here, right? So that's all included in my room. But if you can't get in the room, you can go to this site, scalpelcinetrader.org, get access to the spreadsheet and the inflection zones. Here's my website, email, Twitter. I try to post a trade of the day most days. Here's the trade room. If you want to join the trade room, I do this twice a day in the trade room. And then here's discounts. I trade live twice a day most days. If it's dead in the afternoon, which it's been, then we won't have a webinar. But today we'll probably have one. Actually, we have the Menther Q one coming up here in a half hour. And then these are all discounts to all this stuff. So the Bookmap software, click on that. You get discount. You don't get a discount to the MBO bundle, but you do for the discount for that. Here's Apex. Use Pulcini 50 for any sale. I keep telling you guys this is the one that I put my name behind. I've been using it for 3 years. This is a godsend for you guys that are underfunded. You know, I wish I had this. You know, if I had this back in these kind of things back when I was starting to go downhill, you know, when I had to go on my own trading, it would have been a whole different story, right? Where you're not risking your own money to try to live on your trading account. Doesn't work. Don't try it. I'm telling you, it will not work. It's too much stress. Use one of these. There are a dime a dozen now, but this is the best one. Again, Pulcini 50. That's just you go to Apex. And I show this every week, I know, but and then you get all these different accounts that you can use. I've been using the 150 and 250, and they got the 80% sale, so just put Pulcini 50, you get 80% off. So I think actually it's $50 right now for the 150 and the 250. And this is a great way to work on your trading. You got to make, for instance, the 150, you got to make $9,000 before you lose 5, but it's a trailing stop on the 5 too. So if you go up $8,000 and then pull back 5, you're out of the account. So that's the only drawback, but it teaches you to control your risk. So that's that. What else here?
Sure, expecting results
And then
before we
this is
call
the
auction. I'll
Spot
give
Gamma.
you
You can get the Trace, the Hero, 2 weeks for free. Put in that for the coupon code. And then I think he's got a discount after that too, but minimum you get 2 weeks. Here's the Tick Strike that I was showing you. That's the stuff. Still, I've been using this for about 14 years. Trader Sync to keep track of your trades. Here's your Ludwig levels. Put in the comment box that you saw it on the Bookmap webinar. You'll get special pricing. Here's my reviews. So that's that sheet. I put it in there earlier. And then I put in the link to the Mentor Q webinar. It's coming up in a half hour, so hop in there and it's really interesting as far as what he's doing. And you put all the commands in the Discord room, and you get the levels for the day for all your different products. So come on over to that. Other than that, these markets are just rotating in place now. Let's take one more look at NASDAQ. Yeah, so nothing to do right now. I still have my longs working. Like I've said about 10 times now, because nothing's happened off of that guy. If this turns bearish, as long as it doesn't tag the ATR, and it tags this ATR, then I could put on barks and licks off of that. And there's definitely liquidity down here. So in the meantime, other than that, terrible time of day to 10:30 to 12:30 most days. You just want to get out of the office. I used to physically remove myself between those time periods because I've lost millions and millions of dollars in this time period. This is what starts to happen. Avoid that the best you can. Again, there's certain days where there's big volume coming through, but you know that's 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, it just starts to turn into this nonsense. It's not even worth your mental energy to watch this, right? It's just like come back at 12:30 Central, trade to the close. You will thank me in the long run. All right, that's it, guys. Not a lot. Took a couple TikToks, made a little bit on the move back up, got out. Other than that, I mean, the other trades winning trades I put on before the webinar, gold short, silver short. We talked about those. I do have longs working in here if it does pop up. Like I said, you may want to reconsider this time period, but I think we are due for some kind of juke move, so we'll see. It doesn't have to happen, but it usually does. Other than that, I do this twice a day, most days in my trading room. Come on by and learn how to trade. I will see you guys.